Okay, no, that's fine. I was just saying that it was like, Anyways, I'll tell you about Sister Cities International and also about Jacksonville Sister Cities. Slide, please. Who's doing it? Okay. So, Sister Cities was formed in 1956 by President Eisenhower. And he felt if people got to know each other around the world, grassroots level. So if you know people in a particular country, particular area, well basically country, then when something comes up in the news or you hear someone say something about a particular country or how people in a particular country do things, if you know people personally from those countries or areas, you may have a different perspective because you know them one-on-one versus if you're just listening to the media. And you know that just about your neighborhoods or your friends or whomever, that if you know someone, you have a very different perspective. So his thought was, if in fact people knew each other, that would help to decrease the reason for people warring against each other. I know we have wars all over the place, but that's the concept, and that's when Sister Cities was formed. They were having a presidential meeting and came up with this idea, and that's the formation of Jacksonville Sister City. We're a nonpartisan 501c3 nonprofit. So Jacksonville Sister City falls under Sister Cities International, and we are in fact the same. Slide. So the mission of SCI and Sister Cities, Jacksonville Sister Cities, is to promote peace through mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation, one individual, one community at a time. So that's what I was saying previously, getting to know people one-on-one. Slide. And our mission is peace through people. Now you may say, what is a sister city? It is a city in one country that twins with a city in another country. And you have to have things in common in order for you to become sister cities, such as Jacksonville. We have a port. Almost all of our other sister cities also have a port, have a military, have populations about the same size. We're a million plus, but in that number. So our sister cities have that same, roughly the same population, the same kind of demographic. So Jacksonville would never be twinned with, I forget which city I used earlier, Tokyo, yes. Seoul, one of them, okay. They're too large, so we wouldn't have the commonality, so our sister cities are more along the same size. And there's actually a document that's signed between mayors. So it's a mayor-to-mayor program, so Jacksonville Sister City falls under the Department of Economic Development, which falls under the mayor's office. So anytime we're going to another country or delegates from another country are coming here, there's a letter of invitation that's drafted that goes from the mayor to that city or from that city to us, depending on which way it's going. So it's a mayor to mayor. So anything that we do, we have lots of things that we do, lots of activities, etc. But for those real major things, we have to make sure that we're doing things that's under the auspices of the mayor, because those documents are signed and it's a mayor-to-mayor program. Slide, please. So these are Jacksonville sister cities. There are 8 sister cities. We have 7 active sister cities, and I say that because in Russia, Murmansk has been dormant since around 2016. Even though we are twinned, getting twinned is kind of like getting married. And just because you have a falling out or you don't like each other, you can go your separate ways. But until you get divorced, it's still you're still married. And that's kind of what happens with a twinning. When those documents are in fact signed, you can't just decide, oh, I don't want to be a sister city anymore. It just becomes dormant. And the reason why that is, I think she was trying to get by me. The reason why that became an issue is because when Russia invaded Ukraine, Jacksonville ended up being in the news because President Zelensky said something about those cities in the U.S. that had sister cities in Russia, of which we did, although it was dormant well before that happened. But we ended up being in the media, and the president of Sister Cities had to go on television and speak and all those other kinds of things. But that's just to say that we have 8 sister cities. One is in fact dormant, but all the others are active, and that's where we are around the world. Slide, please. So this one I like to use because it gives you the flags of the various countries. And if you look up, you will see some of the same flags that are in our slide that we have sister cities with are also on your display. And with this one, we have an activity that we will do. We're not doing it with you today. We give you all of the flags of all of the countries, and then we give you a list of the names of the countries, and then we tell you to match it. So we also do that with young people, and I've done summer camps where we've talked about Nelson Mandela, and we've done the same thing. So I always tell them there should be, if nothing else, there should be at least one flag on there that even young people will recognize if they don't know all of the others. But usually people do pretty good with matching many of the flags in the countries. But that's our slide that we use to promote all of our various sister cities. Slide, please. Okay, what are the opportunities and what can you do with sister cities? Well, we always have a booth at World of Nations. Are you all familiar with World of Nations, Metropolitan Park? No, it's not at Metropolitan Park, I'm sorry. It's gonna be at the tailgaters where the trains are and all of that. It will be there February 26th. I'm hesitating because I just went to a meeting and I just realized that I didn't give the dates the last time. I think it's that weekend, it's the 22nd, 23rd, Saturday and Sunday. So it will be back at that tailgaters park is where we'll be held. So we're always there with a booth, and then we give information out to make people aware of sister cities. There's a French immersion, and they'll have a flyer on this. There's a French immersion class of which, this is the one that's for adults, where you can go to France. Nantes is our sister city. You can go to France and stay with a family if you would like to. You can stay at a hotel if you would like to, but most people go and they stay with a family. And we have French lessons in the morning, where you get to practice your French and learn some things. And then in the afternoon and the evening, there's a number of other kinds of things that you will be doing. You may be doing things as a total group, or maybe doing things with the family specifically. And it really just depends. You may go out to listen to music, go to dance, go to dinner, etc. So that gives you an opportunity to have a total French immersion. Many people will also stay on for another week, and they may decide to go to Paris, they may go to Normandy, they may go to the south of France, they may go anywhere. But many people determine once they're already in country, they will do some other things. But this one works out very well, becomes very affordable because you're basically paying for your airfare. And once you get, and I think there's airfare plus $200, I think it is too. It might go up to $300 this year. But that's when you're staying with a family. You're staying with a family, and then the organization that is the sister organization to sister cities normally will have events and activities, so therefore your out-of-pocket costs are very minimal. So that's always a fun time, and since I've talked so much about it, when we get to the slide, I'll just show you the slide. And with the other group, I was telling them that I went to Nantes, the very first time I went to Nantes, I filled out the form where you check the boxes in terms of what you would like, an English-speaking person, a smoker, a non-smoker, male, female, whatever. You know, you have the sheet that says, okay, if I'm gonna go and stay with in someone's home, what is it that I would like? So I checked all the boxes, and then someone that spoke French said they were gonna teach French classes. So it was a small group, man, there may be 20 or so of us. And we could go to Nancy's house and learn French, and you know, you kind of pay attention. No, you all are good. You all would have all paid attention. I kind of paid attention. I said, I filled out the form. I said I want an English-speaking family, and because all of the families will have someone that speaks English. I said, oh, that's great. Well, their daughter, who was a college student, decided that she was going to go to Australia during the time that I was coming. The parents don't speak English. So no, that's really true. No, they spoke a little bit of English, and I spoke a little bit of French. And then I was annoyed with myself that I really didn't pay attention like I should have and practice like I should have when I was here in the States. I said, you knew that you were going to a country where you didn't know the language. But anyway, it worked out very, very well. I had a wonderful experience, and they actually spoke, Jean-Paul actually spoke more English than I spoke French, but between us, we were okay. Monique basically could say yes and no, and maybe how are you? But you know, you end up realizing when you go and you're staying in someone's house, there's some things that are pretty basic. You walk in the room, here's a bathroom. If you see a room with a bed, you figure you don't need to know how to say bed in French. You just need to know that's the bedroom and here's the kitchen. So it was really very interesting. And then you start working through where you're gonna have breakfast. You start working through what are you gonna eat. So you know, you go in the kitchen and you kind of work through that. So that was my experience. So I would recommend if you go, and someone says they're going to do this, to pay a little bit of attention, pay more attention than I did when you were doing that. But it actually ended up working out wonderfully. And those movies that I always thought were so fake, when you have man meets woman somewhere on some island and they don't speak the same language, but you know, by the end of the movie they're madly in love and all of that, I realized you can really get to know each other without knowing all of the language. You get to learn some of the words and you really do get to know each other while there. And one thing I'll tell this group that I didn't tell the other group earlier today is that in France, music, we were having dinner and they said, oh, we'll put on music. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking we're gonna get, I don't know, what French lullabies or something. I mean, I have no clue. When they put on music, the music that influenced France over the years is jazz. When I got there and he put on music, he put on jazz. And I was like, oh, so then I looked into that when I came back, only to find out how jazz had kind of, became popular through the influence of those going during World War II, blacks in World War I and World War II. When they went there to fight for France, they actually brought their music with them, which was jazz. And it's really, really quite interesting. So I learned something from them that I didn't know, that they're playing American jazz music that I didn't know was so popular until after I was there. So there are things that you'll learn about that. Now I'm gonna go through these others real quickly since I spent far too much time talking about the French immersion, but no, we'll go back on the slide. I will say that if you're looking for things to work with Sister Cities, we have the student exchange programs to San Juan, to South Africa and South Korea, which I'll cover again more. We have a peace concert every year on 9/11. So Sister Cities is the organization that does the 9/11 peace concert for the city of Jacksonville. And then there's always a speaker. This year it was the head of the fire rescue department. Last year it was Sheriff Glover, not Glover, he was our speaker last year. And we're hoping that next year it will be the mayor. But there's always music, dance, spoken word. So if you are talented and you'd like to perform, let me know. Or if you know someone who has any of those kinds of skills that you think might be interested in being involved with the peace concert, let us know. And we'll invite them to join us. And then there's various cultural workshops, which I'll show you one of them. And then there's volunteer opportunities for the educational and professional program. So those are opportunities if you're interested in Sister Cities and want to become involved. Now slide, thank you. Our student exchange program, the students will go to, Changwon. It's actually called Changwon Special City now, Changwon, South Korea. So we have adults that have gone, and we have students that will travel, and that's actually in the city hall, and then that gives you an overview of Changwon. Slide. And this, if you look on a website or you pull up Changwon, you will see information on the Cherry Blossom Festival. It's the largest cherry blossom festival in the country. There's 280,000 cherry blossom trees in Changwon, and it is simply beautiful. The 1st of April is the kickoff of the Cherry Blossom Festival, and I thought I'd just give those. I didn't want to give you the picture of myself on the train waving and all of that while I was there. But I usually would go to Changwon every year for the opening of the Cherry Blossom Festival because we're invited by the mayor of Changwon to bring a delegation there. So there's usually a delegation of 5 or 6, but there have been times where we've had other individuals that have traveled with us. And that's the delegation at the bottom. There were 6 of us that went year before last. So that's Changwon, and our students have an opportunity to go also. Slide. South Africa, there was a conference in Cape Town, South Africa, of which the Nelson Mandela Bay Committee, a number of our members were very much involved with the conference that took place. There were 400 people, primarily from the US, that traveled to Cape Town. A number of representatives from various African countries also came. And it was a great conference, and the reason I'm showing this is because Brigady, who is the ambassador, the US ambassador to South Africa, is from Jacksonville and a graduate of Terry Parker. So that is him, so that's why I'm showing that. And all of these individuals here are individuals from Jacksonville that traveled to South Africa to attend this particular conference. And those are the gifts that we presented. And I'm actually showing here, she was Councilwoman Joyce Morgan. She's a property appraiser now. She traveled with us and she made a speech, did a presentation, and presented the gifts to the Consul General, who's in the upper picture here, and then the US Ambassador, which I indicated. And these are also individuals that traveled with us to Cape Town, and this is Nelson Mandela's granddaughter, so Joyce had an opportunity to present, and we did a number of things with her. So we have trips that we'll take individuals to be delegates when we travel to South Africa also. So I wanted to show that because I know many people don't realize that the US Ambassador to South Africa is from Jacksonville, and he has come to Jacksonville and he's met with Mayor Deegan since she's been in office. Slide. And we also have a book exchange program where we take books from local authors, and we've taken them to South Africa, to Nelson Mandela Bay, which is our sister city, and they are in the Mandela Library, and they have brought books from authors from the Eastern Cape to Jacksonville. So we have books in the Jacksonville Public Library system from authors from South Africa that they have brought to us when they've come, and vice versa. And they have a stadium similar to what we have. There's this soccer, ours is American football, but there was a dinner that took place in the stadium, the same as we use ours. And those are just the posters or signs that welcomed us from Jacksonville to Nelson Mandela Bay. Slide. This is what I was talking about with the French immersion program. And you can see these are individuals that travel to the program. That's the castle, the fort that's actually in Nantes that you have an opportunity to visit, and they usually have some activities there. That gives you an idea of the river, and that is an overview of Nantes. It gives you some information on Nantes. And they will be traveling again in June of 25. So if you're interested, let us know. It's actually a great trip. Slide, please. When I talked about cultural activities, etc. So this is a workshop, dance workshop that was conducted by a woman who was a dance instructor at JU. She's not at JU now, but she was at JU until several months ago when she got a job at another university. And it was open and free to the community. Once a quarter, there would be a workshop where you could learn Chinese traditional dance. And I said, oh, that's really great. So I said, who's going to be teaching it? Because I assumed the person that was part of Sister Cities that I knew was going to be teaching the class. And she says, no, I have somebody else teaching. I said, you don't teach tradition? She says, no, I teach hip hop. So and I said, that's what happens when you start stereotyping and you're thinking that she's going to do all this traditional. And she says, I don't do that at all. I get someone who knows how to do it to do it. So these are, I know that this individual is just a person from the community, so I thought I'd show that so people would come in regular dress and do the class, and I can guarantee that they did not look like that when the class was over. But I thought I would at least put in something where you'd be able to see the more formal traditional dance. Slide, please. So that's the person, that's Edie, that actually coordinated the class but didn't teach the class, but she did teach at JU. Actually, during the pandemic, they did a joint class between students in China and students in the US, and they did it via Zoom. Everything was being done via Zoom. So they actually did classes between Jacksonville University and the university there to do classes, and she was the person who was the instructor for that. So obviously they did hip hop. So she also does Chinese paper cutting. So we thought at World of Nations it would be the children who would be cutting the paper, etc. But we found it was children and adults, and we found that this is what your items would look like, and she would just show you how to cut, and you'd open it and like, oh, voila. So you find out you didn't have to be so talented. She would make you appear to be a professional. Slide, please. I already talked about the 9/11 Peace Concert, and that's Sheriff Glover that was there, and then we always have the Salt Marsh Dance Studio that performs, and then some other groups. So that's why I said if you know someone or a part of a group or have young people that are part of a group that would be interested in performing for the 9/11 Peace Concert, because we always like to change it, then just let us know. Slide, please. Our Youth Ambassadors program, I'll talk about through the other slides, but we have a Youth Ambassador program. Slide, please. And these are students that have participated in the program. So the first group, those are students that have traveled to South Korea. The second two are students that have traveled to South Africa, and they have a great time. They're there for 2 weeks in both countries. So they will travel to South Africa first, which they go the end of June going into July. The difference with South Africa is when they go there in July, it's winter. So they are there in hoodies and sweaters and sweats and those kinds of things because it's cold. And then those who go to South Korea, they will go the end of, middle of July to the end of July, and it's about 100 degrees. So, you know, so it's just as hot there in the summer as it is here. But in South Africa, it's always the opposite, so we always have to remember to tell them. Although this year, when they traveled, it was warm. So it worked out well because they still want to get in the water when they go, but when we're dealing with youth, our young people are middle school. So they are 12, 13, 14, every now and then we'll have someone that's 15. But that's the age group that travels. So they always are adventurous and want to have fun, so they'll get in the water. Although I think the water is freezing, they will think the water is fine. So that's, and then we have information on our program. So if you have any middle school students, neighbors that have middle school students, interested in more about our program, let us know. We have 2 openings for San Juan and a couple of openings for South Africa. No, is San Juan full? There's 18. Okay, there's 18 currently going to San Juan, so we have room for 2 more. For South Korea, that one's filled. But if you know someone or have a child that's interested in going, we're always looking for students for next year. And then for South Africa, I think we have 2 or 4 spaces still available because we don't take a large number of students. Taking 18, that's huge for us because we like it to be more around 10 or 12 because it's easy to get to know the students, and we will have, we have chaperones that go, a male and female chaperone, so that all works, but we just like a smaller group. And in some places, like in Korea, they really don't want us to have more than 10 or 12 because they're pairing them with their students. And in Korea, they will do a homestay, so they stay with families there, and then those students come here and stay with families here. So that program's been going on for a long time. The South Africa program, they're staying in a guest house, and in Puerto Rico, they're staying in a guest house. So that's just what happens. So if you want more information on the student exchange program and the youth ambassadors, because we encourage, we don't encourage. We make sure that they know when they leave here, they're not only representing their school, they're not only representing Jacksonville, but they're representing America. And that at that age and the individuals they're interacting with, that they may be the first American that those students will see. So we want to make sure that they know that this is what America looks like and that they're being a great representative and an ambassador. And our group is always a very diverse group, so when they see a group of students coming in from America, it looks like America when the students are going. Slide. Okay, I have talked enough. So now I will turn it over to Arlene and she will speak, and at the end we have time for you to ask any questions. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Like I told you before, I am Arlene Ortiz, and I've been working with the community from 2002. And now, from the past 2 years, I've been the vice president of Sister City, Jacksonville, Florida, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. Yesterday was our 15th anniversary of the Twin Cities. So for all these years was like a little dormant, but I came to the picture 2 years ago with a lot of expectations and a lot of dreams that is fulfilled. And I have in Sister City like a family. So thanks to Miss Cynthia Robbins, then she is the president of the Sister City, Jacksonville, Florida, and Miss Felise and Sister City International, Miss Brenda. So they took me under the wing. So I am very, very happy that for the first time this year, we bring a delegation with 5 students, 2 teachers, and a chaperone that is a police officer to San Juan, Puerto Rico to meet the mayor of San Juan. So in here we bring some gift for him, and this is our students. Then when this is Maurice, and he is a teacher, is amazing. I learned with him a lot. So this year he is putting everything together thanks to him, and Miss Felise. From 10 people is 18 that is coming. We rent a house, and in the house we have the opportunity that get together, and I love to cook. So I have the opportunity to teach the kids how to cook, how to do empanadas and all the Puerto Rican food, and they're middle schoolers and they love it. And the good thing is they bring that to their homes, and now they're cooking to the parents. So when they get home, they have food. So when, for my surprise too, in 2009, when became Sister City, where John Payton, the mayor of here, Jacksonville, Florida, and Santini, the mayor of Puerto Rico, I had a magazine, Florida Starlight Light magazine, that is in the front, in that things that you saw in the front, the exhibition. And my friend Sheila Trujillo took the pictures, and I was the founder of Florida Starlight magazine, and she was the person, that the co-founder with me. So I had the beautiful opportunity after 14 years to bring the magazine to the mayor's office, to the city hall. So that was a big thing, because the magazine is no more. That I closed it in 2010. We had it for 3 years, was 10,000 magazines every 2 months. And for us was very hard because the magazine was growing and we don't have no much experience in business. So, but it was amazing, and that magazine still opened doors for me. So, next slide. Have a next one. Okay, so this is the opportunities that the kids had to travel. We went to museums, and they explored the culture. They really like the people, and they feel very, very comfortable. They was great kids. We never had problems with neither. So that was amazing for me, was a great experience. When God give you something and put it in your hands, it's incredible, because when I was in high school in 11th grade, the mayor at that time in Puerto Rico have a program, did the program for the first time, then it was like a lottery. and I win. And I went for, was like almost a month. I went to Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Boston, New York, Massachusetts. I went to Yale, Harvard. So I have so much fun learning experience, but I never knew that God was putting things in place. So many years, the process to get first, I win that. My husband was in the military for 20 years. We travel, and then I had the magazine. Then I was there when they did the Twin City, the signing papers and all that stuff. And then 13 years after, they called me because I, like you, I do not know that much about Sister City. And here I am, for 2 years. And I tell you, it's the best experience I have. I have family in the Sister City, people that love to help you. They see the way that you have the good things of yours, and they help you to develop that part. And you can succeed and do things for the community, for the kids, and you can leave a legacy. Then that is the most thing, leaving a legacy for a kids. Like this time the kids are everywhere, but they're not like family oriented sometimes, and this bring them to earth. This bring them to get in contact with people. And in that time, there was not that much in cellular phones or nothing like that. They're willing to learn, and they're willing to get all that information to help other people. Because every time we learn, it's not only for us, we're learning to teach somebody else. And always remember, leaving a legacy. We can be selfish, because when we help people, we are growing. When we help people, in our mind is something that generate, that activate, and make us feel like happy. So remember that helping is make you happy. So for me, if you can go one more. And you do new relationship with other people from other countries. Like on Saturday, I went to a meeting with the French committee. I meet the Council of France, and I was feeling like, oh my God, I want to learn French, and I want to go there. So yeah, so this help, and this help. This is the exposition I do for 4 years. I've been doing it 2019 until last year. Then we did it for 2 days. This year I took a break. And this student is helping me for the past 4 years. And the good thing is, students, I give something that they like, and they start looking for information, and they bring me the projects. And if they bring me the projects, I give the community hours. I have my company is Connection to the Nation, and I never knew that I got to be, God given that. In 2015, I start a radio station. 2017, I registered Connection to the Nation, and here I am, connecting with the nations. So you never know, hear the voice, So I am very happy that I can help youth, and I can give the community hours. So if you need something, if you want to be part of Sister Cities, here's my cards, here is the code. You're welcome to be members. It's very affordable. Go to the slide, membership, another one, here. So it's different. Students is $10 for the whole year. Is household is 6 members, is only 50, is only 1 person, is 25 for the whole year. So all this is going to help us to help youth, to help people, to encourage more youth to travel and do productive things. So I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you, Curry, to open the doors and let me, bring all my friends, here. And I hope you enjoy. Thank you, Arlene.
Oh, yeah, the questions.
Do you have any questions? Have any questions?
No.
If you have any questions, here's my phone number. Yes? You have a question? You want a card? Okay, fantastic. I go to give.
And she's gonna have the exposition out there with the
Make
cards
your
too.
hands up, the ones that need the card.
And then you guys have all the rest. The list of the birthday.
In the back, okay?
And Bernadette. Okay.
So I have more cards in the back.
Well, if anybody needs any more,
I have more. Do you need it?
Oh,
you
that
can
would be
have
great.
them outside.
Yeah, I have more outside.
Okay. So, I'll be quiet. Okay, good. So, as you know, we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, right? So, I want to thank them for coming, and I want to introduce all the Hispanics that we have here. I'll start over here. Of course, I jumped over this. There are 21 countries that speak Spanish. As you can see, we have all their flags up there. And the United States, after English, what is the most spoken language? Spanish. Yeah. Even if you go in a bathroom, the instructions are in English and Spanish. I've seen the garbage cans too, English and Spanish, most of the places we go. So I'll start with me. I am Hispanic. I am Puerto Rican. Some people call us New Yorican when we're born and raised in New York, because they say there are more more Puerto Ricans in New York than in Puerto Rico, like Cassandra's laughing. So up there, they know us as New Yoricans. So that's what I am. When I go to Puerto Rico, they tell me I'm not Puerto Rican, I'm New Yorican. Okay, so I'll start over here. Any other Hispanics here? No. Cassandra.
I'm Cassandra. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Philly Rican, actually.
Oh, you're from Philadelphia. Okay, she got it too.
So I'm Jeannie. I'm Miami Rican. But yeah, I'm Puerto Rican. Raised in Miami.
Okay. Anybody in these? Don't be shy. Let me see. Because I just found out today that Cassandra was Puerto Rican. She was Puerto Rican. Anybody else?
Not a Puerto Rican.
So I was gonna give a prize to our. Oh, I keep forgetting Jessica.
So, mom's Puerto Rican, my dad's Cuban, born and raised in Miami, so I'm a Cuban Rican.
That's what we are, a mess. You know, it's not easy to define Hispanics because usually from our culture we're mixed. Like Puerto Ricans came out of slavery, out of the black, out of Spaniards, and out of Haitians, out of the Tainos, which were Indian. So even by ourselves, we're already mixed. Imagine what happens, like in Jessica's case, when the mother mixes with another Hispanic and another, and you find us all the way. We're like, they call in Puerto Rico satos, so mixed.
Mutts.
Mutts, right. Yeah, but we love it, and of course, we love to celebrate. And I wanted to give our honorary Hispanic, where did she go? Where's the vet? She's not here? No. So I'm gonna give her a prize in our name because she's our honorary Hispanic.
I was gonna text her,
And
but
she
I'll wait.
loves it too. So, that is all for now. Now we're gonna go to business from
Here.
for you.
I'm just cutting in just a little bit. I'm the fill-in Linda, faux Linda. So let's first of all give a round of applause to our guests, as well as Carrie, Jessica, and all who participated in putting it together. It was very, very, very rich in culture, and we really appreciate it. In that vein, you all may have received a letter from Linda that went out yesterday afternoon, and hopefully you all have read the letter as it pertained to something that was very important. Our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. We are an organization that is fully committed from our board on down to be an organization that embraces all cultures, all ethnicities, age,